Hello everyone, in this video we are going to talk about using quadratic formula. Generally speaking, we have quadratic equation and it's going to have a format ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0. So something like this. Okay, and so we're trying to solve it in general. Okay, so it doesn't really matter what's going to be a, b, or c. Quadratic formula will give you an answer all the time. So that's why it's pretty powerful. Now, you guys are not going to have to memorize the formulas. They will usually be provided on the test. So the first thing you need to do when you use the quadratic formula is find something called discriminant. And that number helps you discriminate, that's why it's called discriminant, between the three cases. So an equation such as ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0, so this is a quadratic equation, can have two solutions, one solution or no solutions. So that depends on the value of the discriminant. So the first thing you're always going to be doing is finding the discriminant. Once you compute it, you decide. If it's positive, that means you have two solutions. If it's equal 0, then it's only one solution. And if it's negative, then there are no solutions at all. And that's what you put. You just put something like D and E, and that's it. Okay, so, and then once you decide, let's say that you do have some solutions, whether two or only one, you can use the quadratic formula, which is given right here. So this would be minus b. B is the coefficient of x. Be careful here that the coefficient of x also includes the sign. So if it's negative, then b itself would be negative. And the negative in front of b will just basically switch the sign of b. And then plus minus the square root of the discriminant divided by 2a. That's the formula. Now, a lot of times Desmos scientific calculator will actually give you that. If you type the formula, it'll give you both solutions. The only time where you're going to have to work more is the discriminant is not a nice number. By nice number, I mean it is not a complete square. So if it's not a square of some number, then usually the answer should be just typed the way it is. All you're doing is just substituting the values of b, d, and a into the formula and type in the answers in the whatever is the answer field. All right, but anyway, let's take a look at some examples. So the first example that I'm going to look at with you guys in this video is x squared plus x minus 2. So first we have to identify what is a, what is b, and what is c in this equation. So a is the number in front of x squared. Now, since there is no number in front of x squared, it's just x squared, we can always stick a 1 to it. Then we have x, and x also doesn't have a number in front of it. So again, we are going to just stick a 1 in it. It's the same thing. 1x is x. So for this example, a equals 1, b is also equal 1, and c equals negative 2. So we're going to go ahead and put this in the Desmos. So let me see if I can split the screen. And I have my Desmos calculator over here. So every time we're using quadratic formula, the first thing we're going to do is type up the values of a, b, c. So we're just going to say, okay, a equals 1. Enter. Go to the next line. B equals 1. Enter. C equals negative 2. So every time you are using quadratic formula, you're just going to be changing the values of a, b, c, and then it'll automatically recompute everything for you. So the discriminant, I'll just call it capital D, but you can call it whatever you want. I just want to preserve notation here. So D equals b squared. So remember how to type the square. Maybe I'm doing it too fast. B, and then, you press on this button right here. That's a squared. Whoops. Why is it not doing that? There you go. Okay. Minus 4ac. All right, so this is telling you that the discriminant is 9. Now notice when the discriminant is a square of some number, that means that the solutions you have are going to be usually either fractions or integers, which then Desmos will give you the solutions if you type the formula. But first we need to concentrate on how many solutions we have. Well, we got discriminant, it's equal to 9, which is positive, and what that tells you is that you have two solutions. Now, graphically speaking, I just want to show you what that looks like. We generally don't have a graphing calculator with us on the test, but I just wanted you to visualize it. So if you look at x squared plus x minus 2, it's a parabola, and the parabola intersects the x-axis at 2 points. So it it shows you that there are two solutions. So -2 when it's 0 and also 1 when it's 0. These are your x-intercept. This is what we're looking for. So graphically, you immediately see the solutions. They're -2 and then they're 1 if you use Desmos graphing calculator. But again, on the test, you won't have it. So you're going to have to solve it. Okay, so then I need to type up the formula over here. So first I have to make a fraction. So I'm going to press on the fraction button. On the bottom, I'm going to put 2a, which is easy. On the top, I'm going to put -b. Then it really doesn't matter which one you're going to do first, the plus or the minus, because you're going to have two different solutions. So I'm just going to do the plus first, then square root, and then we put d. Okay, so that tells me that the first solution is 1. So I'm just going to write that down. No other calculations are necessary. This is your x1, which is the first solution. The second solution is going to be exact same thing as this, which I'm just going to copy paste to the next line. And instead of a plus, I use a minus. And then that just tells me that the second solution is -2, which is what I also saw on the graph. I got a -2 and I got a 1, right? But those are your two solutions. So usually you will be typing in the box something like 1, -2 for the two solutions that you have.